Hello guys, welcome to the part 2 of the authentication series. So before going to the CSS, let me just fix this registration form. So I'm gonna fix the name attribute here, this one, confirm password. All right. Now let's create the inside public directory. We need to create another folder and that's going to be assets. Inside assets, let's create another directory. And inside CSS, we will create auth.css. And now we have to connect that CSS file with the login.html. And I also using the font family from the Google, so it is not that much important, but you can add for the good looking font family. So now let me add here as well. And I have already copied the CSS code to make this video shorter, so I will provide the link in the description so you can get the CSS source code and the project source code as well. And now if we go to the browser, you can see we have a simple and good looking form. We have also the registration form as well. Now the next thing we have to work on the validation. So we will be working on JavaScript. So let's jump into the JavaScript code. Alright, so inside public directory and asset directory, we have CSS, but we need another folder, and that will be JS. Inside JS folder, we need a file, and it's going to be validation.js. Inside validation.js, I'm gonna type the document dot event listener, and when the content is loaded, I'm going to create arrow function, and inside arrow function we need a constant variable forms, and we will assign document dot query selector all, and we will pass the selector form. So we are getting all the queries from this form using this class, and we will get those queries here. After that, we will be looping using for each loop form with arrow function. We will get the form at event listener submit. So whenever the form is submitted, it's gonna execute this arrow function, and inside that function we need a constant is valid and assign that with validate form, and let's pass the form parameter. Now after that, let's create the if statement. Inside if is valid is not true, then it's gonna execute prevent default function. Then after that, let's create form dot query selector all, and we will get all the inputs from the form, and for each input with the arrow function, and execute the event listener function. So whenever inside input something happen, it's gonna execute validate field function, and we will pass the input. Let me close all the brackets, And now we have to create the validate form function and validate field. And sorry for the spelling mistake with the validate form. It's not a from, it's a form. Now we will pass the form parameter, and inside that function we need a valid equals true. Then we will loop through every input using for each loop. After that we will pass the arrow function, and we're going to create constant field valid. So inside validation form we will be using validate field, and then we will check if the field is not valid. It's gonna assign false. It will return the value either false or true. So we have created validate form. The next thing we have to create this function. So let's create a function, and the name will be validate field. Then we will pass the parameter input and create a constant error element. Let's assign that input closest, and let's pass the class form group. Then we will check for the query selector, and it will be form error. So what it's gonna do, it's gonna look for the form group class, and inside form group it will get the form error. Now after that we're gonna create if statement for the checking. If error element is not true, then it's gonna return true. All right. After that, let's create let error message. It's gonna be empty for now. Then we will create if else statement, and let's pass the input has attribute required. And so if any input has a required attribute and the input value is empty, then it's gonna show this error, and the error will be this field is required. Then let's change else if, and let's pass the input type, and if that is equals to email, and is valid is not true, and the input value is not empty, then it's gonna show error message. Enter a valid email address. After that, I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna paste that 2 times. Then we will change this. Well, actually, this one first. It's going to be name, and the name will be password. Then I'm gonna remove this, and I'm gonna type or input ID is equals to registered password. Then we will create the if statement, and we will check for the length. So I'm gonna type input value length, and if that is less than 8, it's gonna give us error message. Password must be at least 8 characters. And for the else if, here we will check for the regular expression. So the password must contain capitalized or small alphabets. Then we're gonna test input values, or the password must contain 0 to 9 numerics. Then we will pass the input inside test function. So if one of them is not true, it's gonna give us the error. And the error will be password must contain letters and numbers. Let me remove this error. Then we will work on the confirm password. So the input name is equals to confirm password. Then let's create a constant password and assign that document.get element by ID, and it's going to be registered password. Let's create if statement, password and input dot value, which is not equals to password value. Then it's gonna show this error message. Let me change this message. It will be password do not match. After that, we have to display those error messages. So for that, I'm going to create error element text content, which will be equals to error message. Then it will return the error message, which will be equals to null for now. So now we have done our validation, and we have to create is valid email function. So let's create that, which is this one, is valid email, and let's pass the parameter email. In return, it will check the email with this regular expression, and if the format is okay, it's gonna send us true. So now we have done our validation. Now let's check. Let's open the inspect console and let's type something. And I think it is not working. So we have to check for that. Actually, we did not connect the validation.js to our HTML files. So let's connect that. I'm gonna type here script source, and here we will type the path. Also add a differ, and now let me copy this and let's paste that here. Save it and let's check again. So I'm gonna go to the browser and refresh. Then I'm gonna create, and you can see we got the errors. And if I type something like here, which is the correct format, if we change the format, it's gonna give us error accordingly. So we need correct format, and the password must contain 8 characters. And now we got error for the letter. So password must contain alphanumeric. And let me close this and let's check for the login page. It's working perfectly. So let's type the password. It must contain 8 characters. and letters and number as well. So in the next video, we will be working on PHP and MySQL. So I will see you in the next video.